o'clock, so we'll go ahead and start. And I've started the recording. And let's say I've got y'all all marked down, but I don't. That should be everybody now. All right, registration continues, so make sure if you haven't registered that you do register soon for spring semester if you're going to be here spring semester. If you're graduating this semester or next semester, either in December or May, you need to apply for graduation if you have not already done so, particularly if you're graduating in December. If you were planning to walk in December in graduation and you have not applied for graduation, I don't know if you still can or not. You will have to contact Missy McLean, the graduation specialist at graduation@gntc.edu to find out. In any event, if you're graduating either time, you need to go ahead and get your form in. And if you don't, you won't get your papers. Or once you do turn in the form, you will get them, but you'll get delayed on getting them. So you need to apply. There is no charge for just getting the papers, and they will mail you your diplomas to you. At graduation, actually, they just give you an empty cover. That way we don't mix up who gets which papers. The other part is on that is that there is a charge to walk in graduation. December's graduation is in Dalton, May is in Rome. December, they have announced, will be in person. However, they're doing it a little differently. Normally, we do one big graduation on that Thursday night, and it's either the first or second Thursday in December. I think it's December the 2nd, but don't hold me on that date. That instead of doing it in the evening with everybody there, they're going to do two of them in the afternoon. So the CIST one will be, thanks Colby, so it is December the 2nd. That's still a month off, so I'm not real worried about those dates yet because I got plenty of things to do between now and then. We'll have it at noon for the business and computer and public service technologies. So we'll be at noon, and then at 4 o'clock they'll have another graduation that will be for the technical and trade and health. I'm pretty sure is in with them. So they'll have that whole group at 4. So I just have to be over there for the noon graduation. So I will be there that day, assuming nothing else pops up on me. And because I have to go to one a year, academic year, they now tell me. Last year I went to 2 of them. I went to both graduations in Rome and in Dalton, and that doesn't get me out of a graduation this year. So I'll have to go to either this one or the one in Rome. So I plan to go to this one, which is what I normally go to, but sometimes I go to the Rome one when I have requests by students to be there, which is what I had in the spring. That a student had requested I be present to see them graduate, which I did. So that's that. Next one is next week. This session will be on Wednesday. Not on Tuesday. Where is Rome? Rome is a city that is about 50 miles south of Rock Spring. It's a larger city down there. Larger than Lafayette, Fort Oglethorpe, and such. And it's where our main campus is located at. We'll be having it at the Forum, if that's what your question is, where in Rome. Did that answer what you want to know, Alexander? Okay, but it'll be in Rome, in the Forum in Rome. Now, whether it will be one big one in the evening or if it'll be split up like this one is in Dalton for this semester for in December, I don't know. They haven't told us anything about May yet. For one thing, they really don't know because they're waiting to see what happens on the pandemic. So for the last year and a half, the last two of them that were in Rome, the first one 2 years ago was delayed until August because of the pandemic when they finally did have it as a drive-through. And then they had it last year as a drive-through at normal time in May. And then we had ours, the one up here, last December as a drive-through. And that's the only one that got affected up here by it, because we had the one right before the pandemic hit up here, and then the one down there got caught after it hit. So next week, we will be on Wednesday, not on Tuesday. I have a leadership walker event all day again on that Tuesday. So I will be tied up with that. And then as soon as I finish with that, I got to go to Copper Hill, Tennessee, which is about an hour and a half from here in Rock Spring, for the Copper Hill Kiwanis 100th anniversary that they've got me at. And I think I've got to give a short little congratulations mention to them when I get there. And it's supposed to be a good meal, so I'm looking forward to that. And that I like that club. I've been there numerous times. So next Tuesday will be a full day for me. So we'll do all the Tuesday sessions on Wednesday next week. So I've got that posting and announcements in your class at 2 o'clock today. The announcement will pop up and tell you about that. Then be sitting in announcements for the next week, reminding you next week is on Wednesday, not Tuesday. All right. Any questions on all of that about school? I am back. I did make it back last Tuesday, and made it back on in after I did the sessions last week on the road, because I did the first one last Tuesday in the parking lot for a pilot station, and then I went to a McDonald's and did the next one in that parking lot for it. And then when I did y'all's session, I did it in the parking lot for Bob Evans in Nashville, right by Opryland. And then I went and ate lunch after I did y'all's session, and then I drove on back. So I am around here. We're continuing on chapter 6 this week, if I read the calendar correctly, which I did. So chapter 6 is due next Tuesday. I think I went over a little bit on it last week. It's introducing you to your physical component of Active Directory, and that they're teaching you how to use that and also how to manage Active Directory. Active Directory, as I've mentioned before, is critically important in managing servers and managing your network. So do pay attention in here to this. You're going to deal with it in chapter 6 and in 7 and in 8. So you're going to deal with Active Directory in the next 3 chapters. You'll also see it quite often abbreviated as AD for Active Directory. So you'll see an uppercase A and an uppercase D representing Active Directory also. So they're going through and teaching you about Active Directory and how these are set up and such through this chapter, and then they're going to go deeper into it as we get into chapter 7 and 8. Any questions for me on it? Because I've already talked about chapter 6 and Active Directory last week, and there's no sense in me boring you this week with questions on it. With information on it, not with questions on it, with information on it, because I know y'all got plenty of work to do. Some of you have got a number of classes, I know, because I know at least one of you in here's got at least 3 classes, because it's got me for all 3. And so that'll allow y'all to get back to doing other things that y'all need to be doing. I am essentially fully caught up with grading through last night. In your class, I am. One class, my Cisco class, I've got a couple of people, I think 4 people to still grade their assignment that was due yesterday. Discussions from last week are all graded. So the only things I've got left to grade that was due last night is that I've got to grade the last few assignments in my Cisco class. Other than that, everybody else's stuff is graded. In your class, I had nothing to grade from last night except for discussions. So that was a simple one. And there was one other class I had the same way, that there was no assignments due yesterday other than discussions. I will try to post the 4 of y'all's grade in for doing this week's discussion, having done the collaborate. That I'll try to get those posted shortly. Yes, you can do both the collaborate session and the discussion. Just when you do the collaborate session, you go ahead and get an automatic 100, but you can post things out there in the discussion also, and I will actually put a response to your discussion also out there. Except you don't have to, if you've done this collaborate today, that for discussion 12, I believe is, which is the one we're on this week. Yeah, that you don't have to worry about deadlines on it then when you do it, because you've already got your 100 on it. So there's no penalty on if you're a little late or if you're too short or whatever. But yes, you can do both the discussion and the collaborate, but you just get 1 grade from it. Most people don't want to do the discussion. I have some people that do the live collaborate sessions purely to not do the discussion. They're not wanting to learn anything else out of the collaborate session. They just don't want to have to write a discussion. I realize that. But hopefully for all of y'all, and I've actually heard from 1 or 2 of those people the last few years that made the comment, well, I was just sitting in there just to get out of the discussion, and I actually learned information from you when you were talking today. So hopefully the collaborate sessions are useful to y'all, not just as a way out of the discussion, but that y'all are learning stuff in here and getting more information from me. And like if we were in a classroom, that you would hear me talk about more than what's just in the book and tell you some additional information about what's in the book. All right, any other questions? If there's not, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And I'm going to double check to make sure I got everybody marked here. There were 4 of y'all here. I got 4 of you on the list, so I assume that's right. So have a good week. Have a good rest of the day. It's gotten a little chillier out there. I thought it was supposed to warm up this afternoon, because I went out and walked just before I did y'all's session. And I will see you next Wednesday, not Tuesday, next week.